Brothers, sisters, friends, Sabko Maitripurn Jai Bhim. So there's a reason I went into Indian there, which is that our dear friend Anupam from India has joined us tonight. So if everybody waves at Anupam now. Anupam's a dear friend of the Sheffield Sangha. He's been involved in all of our Sheffield Buddhist Centre pilgrimages to India. And we've been trying for about 7 years to get him a visa to come to this country and to come to Sangha Night. Well, it only took a global pandemic, but finally, Anupam is at Sheffield Sangha Night. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. He's just going to go to bed. So, bye-bye, Anupam. Okay, so I said last week that there are 2 meditation practices that we introduce on to newcomers on our introductory course, the mindfulness of breathing and the metta bhavana. And they're not actually introductory meditations, even though we introduce people to them at the start. They are the meditations that are the core of your life, the core of your spiritual life, the practice of mindfulness and the practice of metta. So tonight we're going to practice the mindfulness of breathing. I'm going to talk for 10-15 minutes again, so make yourself comfortable. So yeah, in the mindfulness of breathing, the word that is translated as mindfulness is sati. Sati literally means remembering. So mindfulness is all about remembering. So at this time, if you're anything like me, there's a lot of mental activity going on. And when there's a lot of mental activity, we can lose touch with our body. So initially, mindfulness of breathing is just remembering that we have a body, remembering that we are breathing, that breathing is going on, remembering the breathing body. And during the practice, what we're doing is gathering our minds around that breathing body. So yeah, as Vidanya said in his talk, these are difficult times, and it's inevitable and completely understandable that our minds will be blown around, that our minds will be dispersed, overstimulated, on high alert, because that's what human minds do to make sense of things in difficult times. It's also inevitable and understandable that strong emotions may be near to the surface, because that's what the human heart does when things get tough. I say inevitable, it's not completely inevitable, because we do have some control about how we will experience meditation. So our experience of meditation will be very different if we're watching a lot of news, for example, before meditation, compared to if we did some exercise or just sat quietly with a cup of tea. So what we do immediately before a meditation is important and gives us some control over the experience we might have. So yes, the mindfulness of breathing practice, it trains us in remembering to remember. So through the mindfulness of breathing, we get into a really positive habit of remembering ourselves, becoming aware of our body, of our breathing, what's happening in our mind, what's happening in our heart. So at this time, there's an awful lot that we're not in control of. But one thing we can do through meditation is to take responsibility for our own mental states. That's a large part of what we're doing in meditation, taking responsibility for our own mental states. And when we can do that, it can really be a gift to people around us. it's not, it's quite distressing sometimes to see people suffering in difficulty, and sometimes we feel helpless, but one thing we can do is take responsibility for our own mental states, and that can have a positive effect on others. So I just wanted to say a little bit about a helpful attitude to adopt in meditation, particularly the mindfulness of breathing. And that's an attitude of welcoming, of patience, and understanding. And yeah, to do that, I want to give you a little analogy. It's a shame that Anupam's left us. I think he's left us because it involves his little cousin. His little cousin is 6 years old. So when I'm in Nagpur in India, I stay with Anupam and his family. And I have a room upstairs. And whenever I go upstairs to meditate, without fail, Anupam's little cousin appears. He comes running into the room. So when he first started doing that, I tried asking him to leave. I said, I'm meditating, please leave. Of course, he completely ignored me, being 6. So then I tried telling him to leave and almost forcibly just shooing him out the door, pushing him out the door. Of course, what happened is when I sat down to meditation, a banging started on the door. Bang, bang, bang. Getting louder and louder and louder until I went and saw to him. On one occasion, he even locked me in from the outside. I think that was probably my first experience of lockdown. So I took a new tack, which was to, when I was meditating, he would appear and I just invite him in. Just come in, you can be with me, and just tell him that I'm meditating. So he's part of a Buddhist family. He knows what meditation is. He knows not to disturb people who are meditating. So what he would do is just lie down next to me or sit down next to me. And initially he'd start sort of stroking my hand or prodding me, tweaking me, occasionally pinching me, scratching me, and I just would keep meditating. And of course, after a while, he would start to lose interest. Sometimes he would just drift off, go outside to play. Sometimes he would fall asleep. So that's my analogy for what can happen in meditation. And in a way, the moral of the story is welcome everything in, welcome everyone in, invite everything in. Whatever comes up in meditation, don't try and push it out the door, or all you'll hear is a banging on the door, or you might even get locked in. So yeah, whatever comes to your mind in meditation, invite it in. You don't need to indulge it. You don't need to throw a house party. Just come in, I'm meditating, you're welcome to be in the room. And then one by one, visitors might turn up. So you might think, oh, that's my friend, planning mind. Okay, take a seat while I meditate. Maybe we'll have a chat later. Or, oh, that's my old friend, anxiety. Okay, come in, take a seat. I'm going to be meditating. So like that, just inviting everything and everyone in. And like Anupam's cousin, you'll probably find that they'll lose interest. They might leave, visit the neighbors, they might fall asleep. So yeah, it's a practice of relaxing when things appear in your mind, letting them be there and continuing with your meditation. So it's this relaxed, patient, understanding attitude to your mind, to your overactive mind, to your strong emotions. And as I said before, it's completely understandable that at a time like this, our mind will be blown around, things will be coming up in our minds, strong emotions will be near the surface. And during the meditation, important to aim for a balanced effort. Okay. So what I've been finding in the last few days is at the beginning of the mindfulness of breathing, when I'm just getting going, I actually have to put in quite a lot of effort to stay with the breath. So yeah, sometimes it's just worth starting with quite a concerted effort to stay with the breath, and then gradually as the meditation goes on, just relaxing that and coming to this balance where you are both relaxed, alert, aware, but not sort of over forcing things. So it's about letting your breathing body be your anchor for 30-40 minutes, not focusing too forcefully, but still aware of your breathing body, keeping you steady as the winds blow around you. And yeah, as many times as it takes, just with that attitude of patience and understanding, coming back to an awareness of the breathing body. And we can be confident, because of the law of karma, that this will bear fruit. Every effort we make to come back to the breath, every time we come back to the breath, it's a skillful action, and skillful actions have consequences. Even the intention to sit down and meditate in itself will have positive consequences. Okay, so we will begin the meditation, trying to cultivate that attitude of welcoming, patience, understanding of whatever it is that's going on for you. Before the meditation, I'm going to read part of a poem just to introduce the meditation, and then I'll lead you through a brief body scan, and then I'll ring the bells for the mindfulness of breathing. For those of you who are quite new to meditation, I'll just remind you at the beginning of each stage what it is we're doing in that stage. And as last week, at the end of the meditation, when the 3 bells go at the end of the meditation, maybe just trying to connect with being at Sangha Night, in the Buddhist Centre, in the Great Hall, visualizing people bringing their meditations to a close, tidying each other's meditation gear away, paying respects to the shrine, and leaving in their own time. So get into your meditation postures, make sure you're reasonably comfortable, and we'll be meditating for just under 30 minutes. Start by connecting with a sense of purpose. We've all decided to stay on and meditate. What is the purpose of that? This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who sweep your house empty of its furniture. Treat each guest honorably. meet them at the door and invite them in. So staying aware that you're one of many across Sheffield, meditating at this moment, having a sense of being part of a Sangha. Then gradually bringing your awareness into your own body. Experiencing the weight of your body. Aware of your contact with the ground, points of contact. Supported by the earth. Really giving your weight to the earth. Aware of any sensations in your legs, any tension you might be holding on to, any points of contact. Aware of the contact between your bottom and the cushion or the chair. So connecting with a sense of being well grounded, well supported. And from that stable base, a sense of uplift and energy through your back. Up through the back of your neck, back of your head, to the very top of your head. So you're naturally upright, alert, yet relaxed. Aware of any tension you might be holding in your face muscles, around your eyes or your mouth or your jaw. Any tension in your shoulders, and imagining all that tension draining down through your arms, through your legs, into the ground and away. Now becoming aware of the rise and fall of your belly, the expansion of your chest as you breathe. No need to make any effort to breathe. Just breathing naturally. So your mind with your breath in your body. Mindfulness of breathing. So in the first stage, counting at the end of every out-breath. And whatever arises in your mind, letting it be there and coming back to the breath in the body. Now in the second stage, counting just before the beginning of each in-breath. Welcoming everything in. Now letting go of the counting, staying aware of the movements in the body as it breathes, coming back to that awareness again and again. In the final stage, holding your attention at the point where you first sense the air entering your body. Focused, yet relaxed. And for the last minute, just sitting, resting in the positive effects of having meditated.